I'm here with Dying Wish. And your name is?
Emma Boster.
Emma Boster.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the Download.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
First time here.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. I'm very happy to be here.
This is our institution in Britain for metal.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. But what was a big deal for me this year was your album when it came through. Because I always know if Nuclear Blast send me anything, I'm gonna like it. Mm-hmm. They rarely ever send me anything that isn't great, and your album struck me straight away, specifically because of the vocals.
Thank you.
Which is great because hardcore music is at an all-time high at the moment. Like in terms of productivity and creativity as well. Mm-hmm. And it was lovely to hear like a proper snarling kind of female vocal that I'm old school. I like Bikini Kill and things like that, So I'm old.
Yeah, same.
So that was a vibe that I really liked. So how do you feel like you're being responded to your vocals? Do you think are you getting great response across the board?
Yeah. I have been learning how to do vocals as this band has continued to grow, because when I started this band, I just wanted to be in a punk band where I yelled at the top of my lungs. We used to cover Bikini Kill, which is crazy. My first band did. So that's how I started. I was just I was very inspired by just nitty gritty hardcore music.
Yeah.
And as we've continued to grow, it's like, oh, well, we're playing shows, 100+ shows a year. I'm really gonna try and develop my voice the best that I can. So I feel like I've really nailed it, especially on this last record. It still sounds like my voice, but I'm incorporating new techniques. And even on this last tour that we did, I started doing new things that everyone was like, what the hell? Yeah, where did that come from? So it feels great. I'm very happy.
Pushing the envelope is always going to be respected. And the other thing that came across as I was listening to the record is it feels heartfelt. It feels like, even in the playing and everything, it feels like you mean every single note of it. Mm-hmm. And is it an emotional record? Because it feels like it's my ears.
I can't imagine we'll ever make a record that's not emotional.
Sure.
We as a band care about a lot of things, and that it makes us who we are. Yeah. The emotionality. So I think you take that away, and Dying Wish isn't the same. So, right. That's the goal, is just to keep making and saying things that matter to us.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of saying things that matter, the hardcore scene has made a stand this weekend, which we all support, absolutely support. And I know a lot of hardcore bands are friends with each other. Was there discussion about the Barclays thing at all with you guys?
Well, we found out about it when Scowl and Speed had posted about it. I do know people in Scout personally, and so as soon as we saw that, we were like, oh,
yeah, it puts you in a position, doesn't it?
Obviously it's also a cause that we care about, but it's important for us to be there in solidarity with people in our community. So we took a day to inform our team, hey, by the way, this is the decision we're making. And then we had our manager call Download.
Yeah.
But then they actually had a discussion. And it was like, okay, well, maybe, we continue to put the pressure. If they don't drop the sponsor, then we don't play the festival.
Yeah.
But then we actually ended up, I don't want to take credit for it because it was a lot of other bands that were involved, but we all witnessed a successful boycott, which is really important. And one of the first times that we've seen a win like that for artists in our
Absolutely, and there's been a bit of I didn't want to divert this too much into this debate because it's been roaring on the internet for ages, and I want to talk about your music.
Totally.
But it was kind of heartening to see that it did work.
Right.
And that's all we're going to say.
Yeah, mad respect, Scowl, Speed, Pest Control, Ithaca. I'm missing some. Mad respect.
Yeah, and Zulu.
Zulu, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the American hardcore scene, from the outside looking in, especially the new breed, which is how I always think of it as the new breed, because you all kind of appeared at the same time, like Speed, Space, Zulu, yourselves. Mm-hmm. The list goes on. It always seems like you all kind of know each other. Is this true? Are you kind of tight?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be like people that, maybe we don't know just because we're not friends with the same people, I guess, but we have been going to shows and playing shows for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so I also used to book shows in Portland. So I've booked, Scal and Military Gun and like all of these bands back in the day. So just that way, it is actually a pretty small scene.
Yeah, everyone stays at each other's houses when they're doing shows.
Exactly.
And all that.
Yeah. It is truly a community, and that's what I love about it so much.
I think that's something our readers might not know. Is like, when you see these, especially in the hardcore scene where there's like 15 bands on a bill, like, that will happen a few times a year. It's not like a festival. This is how the shows happen.
Yeah.
And this is how everyone gets to know each other. And I've had a few hardcore bands stay at my house as well. Everyone does at some point,
Right.
It's that kind of scene. Everyone pitches in. There's a lot of cooperation.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is really, really cool, actually. That's something I've always enjoyed about the hardcore scene.
It's inspiring, really,
Yeah. Everyone seems to be down for each other. Everyone's got each other's backs. That's really cool. I mean, like any scene, you'll have the ones that prosper are the ones who stick together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think because hardcore has become so huge so recently, we've never, before the pandemic, like the most you would see at a hardcore kid or like at a hardcore show is like 300 people.
Yeah.
Now it's like thousands of people. So it's really cool that it's growing so much, but like, there are still a lot of us who were around before then and still like, know each other and are really tight knit, and I think that spirit will always be alive. Yeah,
and I think the ones that will prosper are the ones that are pushing the envelope, like yourselves, like Zulu, like Skull, like Space. They're all the ones I remember off the top of my head, and the reason why is because they do something different. You know, they all do something different. They've all got a different take on it, and it was. Funnily enough, it was Liam from Cancer Bats. I was interviewing him, and I was like, "Well, you know about the American hardcore scene. He's a big fan." I said, like, who do you recommend? And this is before all of this come up. And the list he gave me is the same list that I see playing the festivals.
Oh, sick.
So, he did it on camera. He was just like, no, all these bands. And I went home and, like, Spotify'd a lot of them. And he's like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he's tapped into the culture.
Yeah, absolutely. But, he called it. And it's been the year of hardcore this year. I really believe, when I can see a band like Guilt Trip, who released their album, like, early on this year, and now they're doing, like, these big stages for people, and then your band being on, like, sent to me by Nuclear Blast, which was like elite, and they're like tapping right in, finding all the cool stuff. And as I say, big ups on your album. It was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So who are you finding inspiring at the moment? Like,
well, right now, Bambi Thug. She was literally just they were just over here. But
that was incredible, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. So we saw them in Czech on our first show. And I was just like blown away. I walked up to them and told them that, I'm a huge fan now. And then I watched their main stage show from the tent, they have it on TV. Yeah. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, she made a statement.
Really. And I respect the hell out of that. And, while also so much like doing their own thing, that's like so cool. I love it.
Yeah, so. It's incredible to shout rising. I don't think we've ever known an artist that could be on Eurovision 1 minute and on download stage the next, and totally look at home in both places.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that these days music, I think because of the nature of music, because it's so available on everyone's mobile phone, you've got a history of music is available to you. So people are more eclectic and more open to experimentation, I think, these days. Would you say that's right?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I think that, people are so open-minded in ways that they weren't about music before, because there is so much blending of different cultures and music happening right now, like Knocked Loose and Poppy. Like, in what world would that have happened before? I mean, maybe, but like, it's just cool that like people are, like open to that and just, go to festivals and watch anything. It's really cool.
It's very inspirational, isn't it?
It is, and I don't think that metal has the same stigma it used to. I think it's cool now.
Yeah.
Which is wild because, we used to be looked down upon a lot of ways by society.
Yeah, we've seen as dumb music in some quarters, but and it can be sometimes. That's the fun of it. It can be mega intelligent, or it can be dumb if you just want dumb.
Yeah.
So one band is definitely not dumb. Dying Wish.
Great segue.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
I'm working on my segues.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Cheers.